Hello there, thanks for joining me today. Today I'm joined by Sadhu, who's going to be one of our teachers at the Tantra Love Festival in Glastonbury in August this year. Hey Sadhu.
Hi Jason.
How are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
Cool, yeah, I'm very good, very good. So listen, today's video is to give people a chance to meet you and to just talk a little bit about yourself. So why don't we start with my first question? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I'm both a facilitator and I offer individual sessions, and my work's really built around sexuality, empowerment, with a strong shamanic current as well, a strong sort of transformational current too.
Cool. And how did you get into this type of work?
So when I was in my early 20s, I was in Guatemala and I met a shaman, and the main practices we played with there were sex magic and shadow hunting. So I have kind of from a very early start in my work and in my development, this coming together of sexuality work and then depth work as well.
Mm. And tell me a little bit about your personal journey. What was it that called you to work with this shaman, that called you to work with sex magic?
So I think a big turning point for me was when I was about 18 and I was severely depressed for about a year and a half.
Yes.
And then towards the end of that time, I started just very organically, very naturally at home on my own, not really knowing what it was, starting to practice meditation, yoga, some movements, some journaling. And so that took me into practices of self-development.
Yes.
And then from there really I started to travel and then explore different spiritual traditions. And then that led me to meeting the shaman in Guatemala.
Wow. And how long did you study with him for?
I was with him for about 9 months.
Okay.
And apprenticed him, so we were there. We all lived together in a group as well.
Wow.
It's an intensive period.
I can imagine. What would you say was the biggest learning that you had with your time with him?
Biggest learning. I mean, he taught me a lot about living in love, and really, I suppose, really referring back to myself and asking myself, what would I do as love? And he really supported me to get out of a lot of my inner narrative, a lot of my negative stories that I told myself about who I was and who I could be, and
yes,
and a lot of that sort of stuff.
Wow. So you're coming to the festival and you're offering 4 workshops, and we're going to talk about 2 of those in some later videos. But I'm kind of intrigued around. What would you say was the essence or the seed of the work that you're offering?
So, I mean, the essence of the work I offer is I support people really to release the grip of trauma and playing out in their lives repeatedly, and actually I support them to really come into a place of empowerment where they're making choices from a connection to their own freedom and a connection to their own power, rather than choices from running away from something or wanting to get away from a pattern or a behavior in their life.
Yes.
So my work's really very much geared around people coming back to a place of real choice, choosing from their power, choosing from their freedom, and letting go of a lot of the old story and a lot of the operating from their woundings.
Yes.
Places of,
yes.
Yeah.
And it sounds like in your work that actually what you're saying is you really help people to free themselves up of the things that hold them back.
Exactly, yes.
Yes. Tell me, what's the favourite thing about your workshops?
What's my favourite thing about my workshops?
Or your work in general, like of the workshops that you do, what's kind of the favourite thing, would you say, that really fills your soul in a way? What's your favourite thing?
I mean, one of the things I appreciate about myself as a facilitator is I feel I bring a really sweet balance of very deep work where we meet very difficult places in ourselves, balanced with a lot of humor and comedy. So I really like those places in my own workshops where we're really in it, we're really in the deep stuff, but then we're also laughing at the intensity and I suppose the absurdity of of choosing this intense experience for ourselves. Yeah. So I really like that place, but there's where there's both the really deep raw places and the comedy of like, I mean, wow, look at what life's throwing at us now.
Brilliant,
And
brilliant. So listen, I've got one last question for you.
Yes.
And then, so tell me, if you were looking at your work, what would you say was it about your work that makes you completely unique?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, I would, what I just said definitely about that blend of really deep raw places and comedy, or a lightheartedness, a humor. I think that's definitely a hallmark of my work.
Yes.
And yeah, I think also I hold a very loving space, but a very, very firm space, and that I support people really not to escape from themselves, to really be with themselves in the difficult places, but with a lot of love and softness, and with a real firm space holding. So we're not going to run away from their bullshit, but really meet it.
Yes, yes. And my sense is, and I know in the previous conversations that we've had, that this kind of grit and this dealing with really difficult things probably is more in your deeper work. Tell me, like your festivals at the workshop, they're kind of more introductory. Just tell me, without going into the specifics, kind of what people will experience coming to your gentle introductory workshops.
Okay. Jason, do you want me to tell you about specifically about the two workshops I'm offering, or just?
We're going to come back to those in details in a later video. Okay. But I was just kind of looking because. For me, if you're listening to this, you're going to be either incredibly excited about Sadhu's offering, and I was just, for those that might feel a little apprehensive or like using work like going deep, the thing for me at the festival is that all the workshops are kind of introductory, so I just wanted to give people a flavour of that. Tell me about that.
So also play is a massive element in my work.
Yes.
And so we'll definitely turn up the play dial at the festival workshops. And I mean, especially in a festival environment, because everybody's there and they're excited about being there, and we're in this container. I feel we can really play in a very pure and beautiful way. So I'll definitely really emphasize the play element, and we'll explore like a lot of fun games. And I mean, that's again a hallmark of my work. You're entering in a very playful way, and then finding yourself kind of organically in very deep spaces through play as an entry point.
And I've read the workshops you're offering, and I'm really, really excited about them. They feel really beautiful, really unique. Maybe a little sprinkle of challenge amongst them, but I just felt like they were really diverse and juicy workshops. So I'm very, very excited that you're coming to the festival. So listen, this was today's interview. Joining me was Sadhu. Sadhu, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Jason. I look forward to seeing you all at the festival.
Cool. And so if this meeting Sadhu as one of the festival teachers really grabs you, then come and join us for the Tantra Love Festival in Glastonbury, UK, the last bank holiday weekend of August. Look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye-bye.